everyone, welcome to Lives Worth Telling. I'm your host Jodes, and my podcast is about digging deep into people's stories and providing them with a platform to share their life and their experiences with my listeners. One of the key reasons in creating this podcast is so their families and friends can have a record of their life, their stories, and their voice forever. One of my favourite things is hearing about people's stories, their triumphs, their hardships, but most of all, I love hearing about their resilience. I really hope you enjoy listening to my guests share their lives with you. I want you to have a few laughs and allow yourself to be immersed in their stories. Welcome to episode 5 of Lives Worth Telling. We continue to gain new listeners across the world, and we now have listeners in all continents. So thank you so much for your support. In today's episode, I am joined by Jeff and Sofie. They have been living and working in Australia for 2 years. We chat about some challenges they faced initially, but most of all, it was so nice to hear how much they have enjoyed being in Australia. I'm sure you will agree, their story is very engaging, including their amazement in Australians being able to shorten any word possible. I hope you enjoy hearing about their experiences and also about their life back in Belgium. Enjoy. Oh my goodness. Today we have 2 international guests. This is our first time we've had international guests, and they're actually from Belgium, and they are here for work reasons and have been in Australia for nearly 2 years. And I'm going to say welcome to Jeff and Sofie.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, definitely.
Oh my gosh, because you're heading back in a month's time now. So yes, we're going to explore, I guess, a little bit about your background, your families and your work, and then move on to what your impressions of Australia are, before you take off back to Belgium. So we'll start off with a little bit about your family and parents and siblings. Who wants to go first?
Perfect.
Jeff's going first. Excellent.
Yeah. And we're already introduced as international guests.
International, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Couldn't start any better.
It's a good start. All right. So tell us about your family.
Okay. Where do I start? So I have 2 parents. One sister grew up in a small town in Belgium.
Yes.
About 20 kilometers from Ghent.
Okay.
Which is a big city in our minds, which is 200,000 people. Okay, so if we compare it now to where we live at the moment, 6 million people in Melbourne, it's not that big.
Yes.
But for us, that was the big city. So grew up in a small village with my family around. So everybody is a bit grown up in that particular area.
So when you say village, is it, like you've seen our Melbourne suburbs, are the houses close together, far apart? Like, what does the street look like?
Yeah, so
when we think village, we think it's rural. Like
it is rural. Yeah. It is quite rural. So we're living with about 10,000 people there.
Okay.
Depending on where you, which area you take. But I think about 10,000 people. But like you have some houses, and in between there is farmland with cows. So it is rural. So I grew up there, and actually I'm now introduced as an international guest, but I'm not at all an international mind. I lived there, I grew up there, and I stayed there up until I was 29.
Yes. But you are international. You've come to Australia to do something different, and obviously with the same company, but it's a big step. I don't know. Yeah, you are very international, and you take every opportunity that's given to you, from my perspective.
No, definitely. But it's Sofie who is the international mind that I can already tell you. So without Sofie as my partner, I would never dare to take this step.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, Sofie, over to you. Where were you born? And tell us about your family.
I was born in another small town next to the village where Jeff was living. Or not born, but like living as a child.
Okay.
My parents are still together as well. And I have one twin sister.
Yes.
And we're a horse family, an animal family. I think we have horses since we were both 12 years old. And
my goodness.
Have had them ever since. And when we were 15, we moved to another house in the same town as where Jeff was living. so we could have the horses at home and don't have to go to like a, I don't know the English word actually, like the horse school.
We call it an agistment. Like where people agist their horses, so they might like live in a certain suburbia and then they have it agisted somewhere.
Indeed, that was it before, but then we turned 15 and we had the horses at home, so we had to care for them as well ourselves, which was really fun. And we lived there ever since as well.
So how many acres is it in acres over there?
Yeah, but it's not that big. I think just one.
Okay.
So we have 6 horses for the moment, but we have some like meadows nearby from like. We know an old guy who had a meadow for ages, but he can't care for animals himself anymore. So we put our horses there sometimes. So they can have fun there, eat some grass, and he can watch them. So it's a very good deal. Like
that's so good. Is your sister, is she a twin? Identical, non-identical?
Non-identical.
Yes.
And we have the same height and like the same color of hair, but that's about it, I think.
Yes. Oh, that's excellent. Oh, I love hearing about the horse. 6 horses. So is it... Everyone has a different horse each?
Yeah, we started with 2 horses. So my sister was in love with a pony and he was going to be sold. And she was like, Dad, I want him. I'm not... Like, she was so sad. So then he ended up buying the horse for her, like the pony. And I got one myself as well. And that's how we grew into it. And my dad got very into horses as well. And now we still have one horse who's very old. And then everyone has his own horse. And
So how old were you when you first started riding?
10, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. And my dad and mom were like, oh, no, we don't want our children to ride. Let's send them to a horse farm in the middle of winter. They will hate it and it will be done. But we loved it and we never went back home.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Jeff, have you ridden a horse? Have you ridden any of the horses at Sophie's house?
Well, yes, I think you need to try it.
Yes.
Especially at my house.
Yes. So we are already together for close to 10 years. So I come there already for 10 years. So I tried it twice, which is not a lot. And it was not really my cup of tea. But I mean, it's okay. Yes. But I think you need it. It takes a certain learning curve to really enjoy it. And I think I never started on that learning curve.
But twice, I think there's a challenge there, Sophie. Just get him on that horse.
Yeah.
A bit more than twice.
I remember after the second time, he said, like, I can do it now. It's fine. I'm never doing it again.
I've mastered that. Oh, that's fine.
I was still not in the stage where I was enjoying it. Yeah. But
there's a lot to think about in terms of the different, the trot and the canter and the gallop, and then how it works with what you have to do with your body, depending on how fast the horse is walking or running, and the bridle and getting on the horse, staying on the horse.
Getting on the horse is already the first thing, so it looks easy.
You're tall. Yeah, I would need a fair step ladder to get onto a horse.
But it's lovely to see. I mean, Sophie's dad and her sister are, I think, the most into horses. So they have there is just a connection with the horse, but you're also always outside.
Yes.
So it's a lovely sport and to do, and they have indeed some place to do it, but maybe not for me.
6 horses.
Yeah. But there's always energy there. So there's 6 horses. There are 2 dogs who have, I think, more energy than the 6 horses combined.
I do remember you saying the difference between your family home and Sophie's family home is your family home is a lot quieter and hers is just like there's so much noise and things going on,
and it has both pros and cons. I love coming there, but sometimes it in the beginning I need to admit it that it sometimes can be a bit overwhelming as well. But now
and I loved coming to your home as well.
It's a bit of
calm and like just relax, have a quiet chat, like have some time to really talk to each other. Well, at my house it's always buzzing and something's going on, so it's a very different. But it's I love both worlds.
Indeed.
That's so good. Yeah, that's so good. I guess I'm interested in school systems in different countries, and describe what the school system is like in Belgium for you guys. What schools you went to and how the process works. Here we have, when you're say 4 or 5, you go to kinder, and then you move from prep to grade 6 as primary school, and then year 7 to year 12 is high school, and then so on. But how does it work in Belgium? Is it similar to the English or American system, or?
It's a bit different. I will probably translate it in the wrong way, but you start already. Whether I don't think it's mandatory, but most of the people start already at 2.5.
Okay.
To go to kinder.
Wow.
And from 2.5 till 6, you're in I think in kinder, if I translated that correctly. And then from 6 to 12, you go to the, how do you call it here? The primary school.
Yeah, primary school.
Where you
Which
learn
is
to.
mandatory.
Yes, then
Starting
as of then
from
it's
6,
it's mandatory.
Okay.
Then there you learn everything that you need to learn between your 6 and your 12 years old. There is no real choice there. There's just one.
Yes. And what do you call it there?
Yeah.
Lagere school. It's same as primary school, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, it's the same as primary school.
Yes.
I think it's a bit the same. And then you go when you're 12. You can pick some. Then you can choose already a bit. What do you prefer? Do you want to prefer more theoretical classes? Do you prefer more languages? Do you prefer more, let's say, mathematics and science?
At 12.
At 12,
Latin.
Yeah, Latin or more like technical classes. And during this, from 12 to 18, during those years, you can choose more and more. So you choose at when you're 12, when you're 15 again, so that you have already made a bit of a decision when you're 18, what do you want to do.
But I think the system changed recently. I'm not sure how it's now, but it
could be.
Yeah,
wow.
I think it changed since we finished. I read something in newspaper, but I'm not sure. If someone's saying we're wrong, it's probably right.
Fact checking.
That is how when we went to
school. What languages did you learn at school?
So our mother language is Dutch.
Yes.
And then we learn English. I think you learn English also because of television and because you watch movies and series, and that's also in English at our place. But English you learn as of you're 14 years old, something like that.
Oh, wow.
And French you start learning when you're
primary
13.
School.
Or primary school, indeed, when you're 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because Belgium is, we speak, in one part of Belgium we speak Dutch, and the southern part you speak French, and you have a little piece where they speak German.
So you learn a bit of German as well in school?
Yes. I think when you're 15 you start to learn a bit German, but it's like 1 hour a week.
Because we chose mathematics. Like if you want to do more languages, you can choose that as well, and then you have more German,
Okay.
But if you ask me something in German, I will probably not...
so in your family homes, you would all speak Dutch?
Yes.
So when you go back, does everyone speak any English? It's all Dutch when you go back home?
It's all Dutch.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
Some
all Dutch.
homes are like bilingual, but it's probably like here, it's the minority.
Yes.
Most people just speak, or they speak Dutch, or they speak French, depending on where in Belgium they live.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're such a small country, and still went like, no, Belgium is 2 parts, a Dutch-speaking part and a French-speaking part.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it comes with a bit of history, but it has some advantages that we now speak a bit of French, and a bit of German. Yeah,
and I guess the other thing that I'm always curious about is how other countries celebrate Christmas. You know, I think I'm always wanted to do sort of a European Christmas or a UK Christmas, but what does Christmas look like for you guys when you celebrate?
I go ahead, okay.
Yes.
I think, which is not very big thing in Australia, as we've noticed, but Christmas, like the night before Christmas Eve, we call it, is a very big thing. I think
Christmas Eve is the 24th of December.
Yeah. Yes.
So in the evening. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Does that translate the same
here? Yes, it is. Yeah, okay. Christmas Eve. Yeah,
okay.
24th of December.
And like that's really a family moment. I think in our 2 families at least, and that's when you give the gifts as well. It's not really the thing like Santa Claus came and we do it in the morning. It's more an evening thing, I guess.
Yes.
And Christmas Day, of course, as well, because you have multiple families to celebrate with. But I think I would dare to say the main focus is even Christmas Eve, even a bit more than Christmas itself. Mm. But it's a very cozy family thing. The gifts, the Christmas trees. Sometimes it snows because Belgium is cold.
Yes.
So that was an adjustment here because it's summer when it's Christmas here. It felt it was the weirdest thing ever. I saw like the Santa Claus with like dolphins on. That's that were on his
It's
sled
summer.
instead of reindeers.
Christmas means summer
Yeah.
here. Yes.
But
Yes.
it's so yeah, we have 4 sides of the family. So my father's side, my mother's side, and Sophie's mother's side, and Sophie's father's side. So you try to combine or
That's
meet
hard.
everybody in that period between Christmas and New Year.
Yes.
Because it's really a family tradition. So I think for most of the families, it goes like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the good thing is Belgium's small, so
Indeed.
even though like my family lives everywhere in Flanders, but yeah, everywhere is an hour away. Like it's not the same as in Australia that you need to take a plane. So
Further.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a cozy evening.
And your Christmas holidays, like our big break is at Christmas, but your big break is in the summer.
Mhm.
How much time do you get off around Christmas time?
Between Christmas and New Year.
Yeah.
So most of the
Yeah.
people, that 1 week, I think a lot of companies are closed,
Okay.
schools are closed.
Yeah.
for
Definitely.
2 weeks even.
And the schools are closed for 2 weeks. But indeed, not a lot of people dare take 3 weeks or their big holidays because it's just it's shitty weather.
Yes. What temperature is around Christmas time? Like, is it?
It can really depend, but it can be freezing, and then I would say like -3. Colder is like
Minus
can
3
be.
is already an exception. Yeah.
I would say between -3 and 10 something.
Yeah, something like that.
That's the daytime temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gosh.
yeah. -3 would be more at night probably. Like
Are you looking forward to going back to a cold
no.
Christmas?
I don't mind the cold. I hear a lot of people in Melbourne not complaining, but
We are
Yeah.
always complaining
Yeah,
about
It
the
is
you
cold.
are
complaining.
always complaining, the Australians.
Always. I don't know why. We have very hot summers, but we are always complaining about the cold. But we have the range. You know, we have the cold days, but then we have 42 degrees.
Yeah.
Or, it's But how Australians talk about weather all the time. I don't know if it's an Australian thing or
I think it's more global. In
everyone
Belgium,
talks
they
about
also
the weather.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the
But
cold.
we did notice, like, we'd say to each other, like, all these Aussies complaining about the weather.
Yeah.
I mean, the weather's great,
I think
right?
it's awesome.
That's right.
But the cold, I don't mind the cold, and I think also we don't mind the cold, but it are also the shortest days. And if it's then of course
yes.
cloudy or rainy,
Yes.
then it can be a bit depressing. But
Yes.
if you have a 0-degree day with the sun out, it can be beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yes,
same here.
true.
I mean, the
Quite
hours of
different.
sun here are. I mean, we have a lot more hours of sun here. That's something that I'm really gonna miss.
Yes.
But not particular the 10 degrees hotter.
Yeah.
So what time would it get dark at night in Belgium in your the dark shorter
the,
days?
like the range of days is shorter in winter and
Okay.
longer in summer because we're further away from the equator.
Yes.
So I would say midwinter probably gets daylight at 7:30 and dark at 4.
Yes.
4:30.
4:30. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, that's early.
Yeah.
And yet here, it's light for a long time.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But then
Yeah.
in summer it's like we have daylight until 10:30, which is
Oh.
amazing.
10:30.
Here it's
It's the
like until
opposite.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like that in Scotland.
Yeah.
It was like daytime at 10:30 at night. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we
indeed.
traveled to Scotland.
Yeah.
It's so
strange.
nice because you feel like the day never ends.
Yeah. Do you have daylight savings in
Yes.
Belgium?
Yes.
Yeah, when daylight savings here ends, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's so nice when daylight savings is there because it's light for longer and the day feels like you've got more time in the
Indeed.
night. And then when it finishes, it's like dark at 5, 6
Yeah.
o'clock or 6 o'clock. Yes. So I love hearing about, I guess, your backgrounds in what Belgium is like. I haven't been there. But yes, I would love to see where you guys live and just it's so I imagine it is so different to Australia. I've seen it on FaceTime, but yeah, not in the flesh.
You're definitely welcome to visit.
Definitely.
We have a spare room, so.
Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! Oh, there's so much pressure from this. So thinking about your family life as an adult. So Jeff, you said you and Sophie have been together for 10 years.
Yeah.
So something happened exciting while you guys have been in Australia. What happened
Oh, yeah.
recently?
Yeah, we're engaged.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very exciting. Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
But
So
I
when
think
was
everybody
that?
saw it coming, so it's not surprising.
They're like, oh, finally.
Finally.
Yeah. I think I was most surprised of everyone because all my friends were like, honestly, why did they wait so long?
Well, you have to about these things, Jeff.
Yeah.
You know, there's a
Indeed.
big, taking on 6 horses is a big responsibility, right?
6 horses, 2 dogs, lots of energy.
Yeah. And
So I all signed up for
yeah.
all that. Yeah.
And
Yes.
the proposal happens in Wilson's Prom, which was definitely worth the wait because,
Yeah.
wow, we loved Wilson's Prom.
Yeah.
So special that. Did you envisage that it was going to happen in Australia, Jeff? Like,
Yes. Well, in the first year, I didn't really think about it because, in our head, although this was an adventure with an end date, but
Yes.
the end date was a bit gray area.
Okay.
It could be 2 years, 3 years, but at some point in time, in our heads, we were always gonna go back to our family and friends in Belgium.
Yes.
So I also thought, if we're getting married, it's gonna be in Belgium.
yes.
So
You
then,
had to work back the timeline going, right, okay. So
Indeed.
yes.
Yeah. So in the first year,
Wilson's
I thought,
Prom.
no point in asking it now because then we need to wait still 2 years. But it was not really like, okay, we need to do it in Wilson's Prom. But we
It's just
have so much beautiful nature here that I think this was definitely a spot.
Fabulous. How wonderful is
Wow.
that? How did you guys meet?
Via the youth movement.
Okay.
So a big part of, I think, both of our lives, but for me, it was an even bigger part. I think I was in the youth movement as of I was 10 years old. So it starts as of 6. You
Okay.
can go when
so
you're
what?
6
Explain
years old.
what's the youth movement?
It is a gathering of children from across the small village that I'm talking about.
Wow.
Mostly on a Sunday from 2 to 5. And then you have certain, and then, there are people, or still, adults from 18 until 22 or 23 who are, making games, creating.
So who's it operated by?
Yeah, it's just, I think, volunteers. So
How?
volunteers who do that as of they're 18, who are also in the youth movement, and then they come together and making
That's
sure
really
that
cool. So does everyone participate in it?
no.
Like you can choose. Like I only joined when I was 16, which is like the last year before you become a leader, and the leader is the term for someone who invents the games.
Yes.
But you can start as of 6 years old, and then you're divided by age, and people can come any Sunday they like, or they can't show up at all.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's very flexible, it's very chill, but it's a really nice way to spend your Sunday, and you're always playing outside, and it's a common thing in Belgium. Like every village has multiple youth movements.
Yeah.
They have
cool.
different names, and
If I would take a guess, but I think 50% is maybe a bit exaggerated, but we had definitely 250 members back then. And there was also another youth movement, which was, I think, similar in size. So that are already 500 children who are gathering, not every Sunday 500, but
Oh my goodness.
gathering. And then you also go once a year on a camp for 7 or 10 days. So it's fun, and it was a big part of my
So it's
of my
not
youth.
it's not religion based
No.
at all? No, there's no religion.
No.
So it's kind of, I'm trying to think what the equivalent here would be, is we have something called scouts.
Yes, it's a
and-
bit like that. Yeah.
and guides, which is
Yeah.
the kind of around that movement, and they have
Yeah.
camps and they learn different things every week.
Yeah.
But it's not as popular as it used to be. It used to be quite popular a long time ago. But it's still, I guess it still is, and you have your leaders, I guess, once they get to that 18 and 19, they can come back as a leader. Kind of similar, but I think yours is much better and a lot more higher participation by the sounds.
Yeah, well,
and also like it's very playful. Like it's sometimes we learn things, but it's more of playing, being outside, people, learning, or like getting to meet new people, like other children. Like for me, I moved villages or towns better back then, and that's why I joined, because my friends were like, "Come join our youth movements, our scouts," and then I get to know you and get to know some other people, and it's amazing.
So that's how you met at the youth movement, at the
That's
same
how-
one.
And it's what I also find amazing, like looking back, is people are 18 years old, 20, maybe 22, and they organize. We did it as well, like organize all these things, camps, like a huge responsibility, and they do it so well.
Yes.
Well, now I look at an 18-year-old and I'm surprised what they can do. Like, but I know they can do it,
Yes.
right? But I'm like, wow, it's really
That's really good.
impressive that you're doing that. And
Mhm.
actually that we did it as well. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, just.
Do you think that's how most people meet in Belgium? Like your parents, did they meet through a youth movement? Similar or not really?
No,
No.
but I think
Okay.
some of them do.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Okay.
Yeah, you have school, university,
yeah.
other hobbies, right?
Yes.
It's a
It's
bit like
a
a
way.
sports,
Yeah.
Okay.
doing sport, and you also meet every week, but instead of playing soccer or playing AFL,
Yes.
you just make fun
Yes.
on Sunday.
That's really great.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that. I think that, but yeah, our scouts and guides would be a kind of similar.
I think so, yeah.
So I guess I'm going to ask you a question. I might start with Sophie. So what do you admire most about Jeff?
I think, like, I'm sometimes a bit chaotic, especially like in the beginning, a bit unnuanced. And Jeff knows exactly how to, like, just his presence makes me calmer.
Yes.
And I don't know, sometimes I see him do things and I'm like, oh, it's so amazing how he does it. And it inspires me. Like, I think that's probably, it's weird. I can't like pin something exactly, but you inspire me in different ways. And I think that's the most amazing thing. And I especially after 10 years, you feel your family, you're my best friend.
Yeah,
You're
Oh, so nice.
Wow.
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 Now it's your turn,
do
Jeff.
you see the tears on the podcast?
I haven't had one yet.
Oh.
Not one.
Jesus.
well, you
No.
have one now.
So Jeff, what do you admire most about Sophie?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things, but I think the positive energy is definitely one thing.
Yes.
So life's always more fun with Sophie around.
Oh, how
And,
gorgeous is that?
Yeah, but so that's in a nutshell. I
Yes.
think what I admire the most at her, she's always positive in all aspects
Yes.
of life, and I think that's why also in our group of friends and our family, everybody loves to see
Oh.
Sophie
Oh.
being there because, like I said, it's always fun.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't have that, so for me, it's sometimes I can also be a bit grumpy or a bit. Now,
You compliment each other.
yeah,
Yes.
so that's good.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's really, really nice to hear, because often when I'm speaking to people, the other person that they're talking about isn't there. But this is the first time, you're listening to each other's responses straight away. I want to talk about, I guess, your work and profession, which is what has brought you to Australia, especially you, Jeff. What is your current profession or your position now?
Okay, so I'm at the moment an operations manager for MCC Verstraeten, or Verstraeten, like they say in Aussie.
We say Verstrata, Verstrata, and you sound so much better when you say Verstrata.
It's because of the.
I don't know what it is.
I don't think my is that good, but yeah, that I found different. But so yeah, I'm responsible for the production side. Here, and I was also, like say, helping with the integration part.
Okay.
So, in a nutshell, there was a company in Belgium who acquired an Australian company who do the same. They make IML labels, and I came over to help. Although I don't have a lot of expertise in IML labels, so I joined the company in Belgium for 6 months to be trained, and then I moved to Australia.
Okay.
So, we've also took this job because we were going to Australia. Yeah.
Yes.
So and
so when the opportunity was put to you, did MCC Verstrata, did they say, Jeff, we want you to go to Australia, or did you? It was an option that people could take up this opportunity.
It was just so I was not working for them,
Okay.
and then I've heard there is an opportunity to join that company, which is quite close to again the village where we are living, the Belgium side. And they're searching somebody who need to go for 2 to 3 years to Australia. So
and then you spoke to Sofie.
and then
said,
Sofie came in, and yeah.
I'm the jumper and Jeff's the tinker. So I was like, yes, let's do it. And
Sofie said after 2 seconds, yes, do.
I love
Now.
that, the jumper and the thinker.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And then the night, Jeff really thought about it very well. And then the night before we're leaving, then I'm like starting to panic, like, what have we done? We're moving to the other side of the world. Like, and Jeff's like, now it's too late. I told you to think about it before. Like,
The jumper and the thinker.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
So is your role, when you go back to Belgium, is your role going to be the same as it is here?
No. So in Belgium, the site is a bit bigger, so the responsibilities are, let's say, a bit more split. Where
Okay.
here, we were with a smaller team who were different caps, which I also really enjoyed. It was very broad. It will be a bit more narrow, so I'll be responsible for, let's say, supply chain.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm still definitely looking forward to it. So yeah, it's going to be similar in some ways, but different in also some ways. Yeah.
So you came across for work, and then Sophie's like, yeah, let's go. So Sofie, what did your work look like before you came to Australia? Like what you were doing back home?
I'm actually an audiologist.
Yes.
I don't know if it sounds okay with my accent, because I've had a lot of people say you're a cardiologist. And I'm like, no.
Sure.
I
I do heart operations. Yes,
So I'm not a
cardiologist.
doctor, but everything with ears and balance. And I worked in a hospital before, like when I ended university as an audiologist, and it's always been an ear, throat, and
Your throat, nose.
nose,
Yeah,
yeah,
yes.
doctor. So then we do like balance tests, hearing tests. So that was what I was doing before.
And then when you came here, so Jeff then starts at MC for Strata, and you don't have that. What did you do when you first came?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm a jumper. So I was like, we'll see about the job when I'm there.
Yeah.
We'll
sort it out.
Yeah, we'll sort it out. But because I have it's in the paramedical degree, you can't just start practicing here. You have to retake exams, internship, pay quite a huge admin fee. And I was like, I have another degree as well in management and policies in healthcare.
Okay.
So I was like, let's try to use that degree and
Yes.
let's do something completely different. But that was more difficult than I thought, because in Australia, they were like, what's that degree about?
Yeah.
So then I did a few different things. I started as a communication and administration officer in a hospital in Melbourne, and then I started working for Flanders Investment and Trade, which was a huge and very nice opportunity as well.
Excellent.
Were all temporary contracts, and then now I ended the last few months as a packer for Specsavers. So I did 3 completely different things, but I learned a lot from all 3 of them. So that's what I've done here, and now I actually have a job moving back to Belgium again as an audiologist.
Oh, wow.
But
That's
not
really
enough.
good news.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yes.
I was really excited about it and still am. And it's not in a hospital this time, but in a hearing center. So it's adjusting hearing aids.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
excited
I don't know
for
if
the new chapter.
which way you come, but we have quite a key. It's called Knox Audiology,
Yeah.
just close by.
I know
and
it, yeah.
It's one of the places that everyone takes their children for hearing tests and things. That's really good that you've got a
Yeah.
position back home. Yes.
Yeah, I'm
yes.
really excited about
Because
it.
that's not the easiest thing. I came here and I had a job, but you're already in a new country. A lot of things need to be arranged. You need to live somewhere else.
That's
you need to
right.
buy some furniture. You need to have Medicare, where you never heard of. You need to
Yeah.
have a bank. So all of that.
Lots to
And-
organize.
All of that Sofie did. And in the meantime, also she need to look for a job with not the degree that she had in Belgium. So it's not easy. I think in general we also have a lot of friends here, expats as well, sometimes from Belgium or from different countries, and you feel that the partner, that's harder. It's just harder. So a lot of people come from work for one person, but the other person, it's hard to find a job because you're on a visa also.
Yes.
If you're like in a financial or technology trade, that's easier to find a job. I feel like hearing other people with the same experience. But healthcare, or paramedical things, if you don't retake the exams, like looking back, I would definitely have done it and just retook the exams. But then, it's like 6 months have passed. So you're like, probably only a year and a half left.
Yes.
I'm not going to do it. And then it's only a year. And so you keep on pushing it forward. But looking back, I would have done it differently,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
still very grateful for all the other opportunities I had, and I learned a lot about it as well. So,
But I think,
that's really
Sophie,
nice.
when you think about, and you've acknowledged it as well, and Jeff is you're so positive and you're the jumper, you're just grabbing any opportunity that you can take. You haven't, it could have been where you're just staying, in your apartment and Jeff's going off to Box Hill every day, and you're like, well, I'll just stay here for 2 years and wait till he's finished. But you've gone out and experienced lots of different things, and now having a position going back to in Belgium, like it's all fallen into place.
yeah,
It's really,
indeed.
really good.
yeah. And honestly, like living in a very chaotic home as a child, the peace and quiet in the apartment when I was alone, it drove me nuts. Like,
You needed noise.
yeah, I was used to like mucking up tables every day, and now I was like in a small apartment and like, oh, there's a dust clot on the floor. Let's vacuum again because there's not that much else to do. Like, so
Have you done any horse riding in Australia?
no,
at all?
I actually
No.
haven't. I looked like for a riding school, but it was pretty far away, and especially with public transport then.
Yes.
So yeah, but I took actually my riding trousers with me, but never used them.
Oh my
So-
gosh, I can't believe you haven't ridden a horse when you. We
Yeah.
have quite a few different places you can ride horses. You're down on Mornington Peninsula and around. So
Yeah.
you to get back on a horse.
Yeah,
like, you have
but
to 2 years.
I'm very excited about it. Especially because I've been doing it since I'm 10. It's
Of
like
course.
riding a bike, and my sister's like really doing like jumpings and all that kind of stuff. But I just ride at home, very easy, recreational.
She's into the. So does she compete? Like in
yeah,
the show
she
jumping?
does
Yes.
like competing, but I honestly,
It's a
that's-
hobby
yeah,
more for you.
it's-
yes.
I don't get like I get relaxed being with the horses, and I really enjoy just doing it recreational.
Yes.
I did like competition once or twice, and I didn't really like it. So I was like, why bother? Like,
Yeah.
so I'm really excited to go back to my horse because she's still at home.
Aw,
My
what's her
dad's a-
name?
Irtish.
Irtish.
Yeah, apparently it's a Russian river.
Okay.
But she had that name before we got
Oh,
her.
okay.
So we got her when she was 4.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. What type of horse is she?
She's a Belgian warm blood.
Okay.
But so really easy horse. She's so lovely. She has a great character.
What colour?
She's brown, so
Yes.
yeah, black hair, like black manes, and brown. How would you say it? Like the hair on the
Like
skin.
fur.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
brown fur, black
Yes.
manes.
So have you, Jeff? Does Sophie talk to her horse? Like, have you heard her talk to her horse?
Sometimes
person,
yes,
yeah.
but not like a person.
Yeah.
But yes, sometimes yes.
No, just gonna
Not
think
like
everybody-
the crazy horse lady, but sometimes I do. Especially
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to hear.
yeah. If I feel she's like uneasy, I feel like it helps. Like we have even one horse that I sing to. She's a really excited horse and has a lot of energy, a lot of blood. So I sing to her to make her calm. But
down. Oh my goodness.
other than that, I'm pretty normal.
Jeff's like,
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear about more horse riding for you, Jeff. So I think that that work and profession has brought you to Australia, and I think you've really embraced everything that Australia has to offer. We're going to move more now into your impressions of Australia and what you think of us as a country. What were your first impressions when you had you ever been to Australia before this trip?
Sophie had.
Sophie had.
You had to.
The
And
jump
I
part,
had
hasn't
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was studying audiology, we had the opportunity to go abroad for like a semester. So I went to Sydney then, and I studied there for 5 months, 6 months.
5 months, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Jeff came to visit me during the Easter break
Yeah.
for like 2 or 3 weeks.
I think 3 weeks I was here.
Yeah.
So we already saw Sydney and a
Yes.
bit of the East Coast.
Okay.
And there was also a connection because Sophie went here, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, for school with
Okay.
Australia.
Yes.
So that's why I think if an opportunity came for another country, maybe it wouldn't be that easy of a decision that we were gonna take it. But we thought, oh, Melbourne, Australia, 2
Yes.
years fits our lives. Awesome,
Yes.
we're gonna do it.
Yeah,
Fabulous.
a language we know, which was very
Indeed,
important
indeed.
for me as well. And you notice it when you're talking to people. Even our English is quite good, but even still, sometimes there's like words I don't know, like fur. Like I know
Yes.
the word, but I just
What the translation is.
So
in
if
your
it
mind.
would be like Spanish or anything, it would be very difficult to
Yes.
connect with people.
Yeah. So what have your first impressions of Australia in terms of the lifestyle, everything that you've encountered?
Of course, we came and then we decided to live in Melbourne.
Yes.
I think in the inner city.
Yes.
So that was for us already something new. So in my head, it's a bit. We have Melbourne as such, living in a multi-million city. Sorry, and then also Australia, the countryside, and what we've seen. So in Melbourne itself, it was in the beginning. I need to get used to it because there is always noise. There is always people. But also always opportunities to go to the stores, to grab a coffee, to go to the theater or to a music venue. So in the beginning,
you're used to more of a quieter lifestyle at home.
Yes. So in the beginning, I really need to get. I mean, that was maybe the biggest change where I need to get used to.
Yes.
But after a couple of months, of course, you also
so much
see
around you to
indeed.
do. Yeah.
And the Aussies itself, it's like a more relaxed lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's more, no worries, mate. Take it easy. Really nice.
That's
but
right.
But
that
because we were
as well.
in Melbourne, I mean, that was the thing. So in our head, an Australian, like I'm now just, an Australian has long blonde hair, minimalistic tattoos on his arms, surfs every day, is muscled, and eats avocados for breakfast, and works 4 hours a day, and has an amazing life. And so in our head it was okay. We're gonna go to Australia, and in Melbourne itself, it was of course still the buzzing city, but the relaxing, or it was more the open-minded. Like everybody says hello, even if you're walking on the street. People are very interested in your stories and in your life.
Yes.
That's something which maybe Belgians are more reserved.
Okay.
They're gonna not just talk to you in the stores or on the street, and that's something that I liked here because also we didn't know a lot of people.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
That was definitely very.
So you didn't
nice.
know really anyone when you came here.
When we came here, not. But of course, there were friends which we knew were also coming after a couple of months.
Okay.
So after, let's say, half a year, we had 2 couples which we were quite close with, also from Belgium, where we then did heaps of trips with.
That's good.
Yeah, so that was, for us, also a bit of a benchmark. Like before that, it was hard to adjust. But after that, we had the best of both worlds. Our weekends were full of trips and adventures.
Oh my gosh, you guys have been so many places. I think you've been more places than some Australians. So that was my next question is around what regions have you explored outside of Melbourne? Like,
will you give the list?
Okay.
Give the list
States.
or not?
So we've been to Tassie.
Yeah. See, I like how you call it Tassie. That's what we call it. Tassie, right? Not Tasmania. We shorten everything. As you found out, Jeff, working in Australia is Tassie. That's what we call it.
Yeah, definitely. I remember the first time someone texted me, "Let's meet in the Arvo," and I really had to look it up. Like
Arvo.
Is it a weird way to say avocado? Like what's going on? But now we're really used to it.
Even the MCG, those are only 3 letters, and then people say meet at the G.
We shorten an acronym. The Melbourne Cricket Ground, we can just call it G.
The G, and everybody knows what it is.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point, Jeff. That's very good. I've never thought of it like that. But it's part of the way we speak is we shorten everything.
Yes.
I don't know why. Is it a laziness? We just want to get out our words faster or I don't know.
More time to talk about something else, maybe. I don't know.
Fill it with more. So you've been to Tassie?
Yeah. Queensland. We went from Cairns to Airlie Beach by car when my parents came to visit.
Oh, how lovely.
Which was very nice. We drove from Sydney back to Melbourne as well.
Yeah.
So you're doing it the Australian way as well, isn't it? You're just flying everywhere. You're driving because we have a lot of kilometres to cover in the United States.
Yeah.
We do a lot of driving on our holidays.
Yeah. Then we went to
Uluru?
just like the Red Centre.
Oh, lovely.
New Zealand, although that's not
Yeah.
really Australia, but
Yes.
so we've
It's
been
part
to
of
the southern island of New Zealand.
Oh, lovely.
And then some exploring in Victoria itself during the weekends. And we took a long drive to help me. Also,
Broken Hill.
Broken.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In
Very
one
remote.
weekend.
Yes.
Also with our lovely friends from Belgium. So that was a really good trip as well.
Yeah.
And now the next thing is we go to Perth and then Darwin and then we fly back home.
Oh, so you're going across to Perth, yeah?
Yes.
Where are you heading in Perth over there?
It's only 3 days because
Yeah,
I
it's a
think
short
it was the same money to fly from Melbourne to Darwin than flying Melbourne per Darwin. So
really?
we thought we might as well just
Yes.
chuck on a couple of days.
Perth's beautiful.
See
Yeah.
the guaca.
Western Australia, yeah, and it's such a big state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But mostly, people are heading to Perth, Margaret River, Esperance down the
Yeah.
bottom, which is
Yeah.
very beautiful.
So
A friend of mine has just been there on the holidays, and she said it was so stunning. And then, yes, you have Rottnest Island with the quokkas,
Yeah.
which are the cutest ever. They are so cute. I don't know how you describe them. They'll come up to you like a cat almost, but they're really, really sweet. I'm always inspired by your ability to go so many places, as guests to Australia. You're hitting the road at almost every weekend to go and do things and
I think it's also the thing because it's the other side of the world really from Europe. So you're like, we're here now, we need to get the most of it and we need to see as much as we can. Well, if you're an Aussie yourself, you're like, I can do it in 10 years as well. Who cares? Like, take
Be
it
here
easy.
forever.
It's less pressure, right? Well,
True, that's true.
If you would go to Europe, you would see 4 countries in one trip.
That's
and we're
true.
like, we would go to one village in
Yeah, I
France
know.
probably. So
We try and fit a lot in. It is a long way
Yeah.
to you guys over there. It's
yeah.
a flight and a half, like longer than the States. It's a long way.
Yeah.
A long way home. I guess you found this that coming here is a long way here as well. When you that
Yeah,
flight.
it's far. Yeah. Plus, also we don't have here any family or any things that we need to do in the weekends.
So you're almost free.
We're free.
Yeah.
We're living
Except
in like an apartment, so there's also not much you can do. I think if you don't do anything, it wouldn't be good. We couldn't stay just we're having a week off. We're gonna stay in Melbourne because
Yes.
so
It's
it
great.
was
I
good.
think it's really good. You really
to
embraced
get out.
your time here. Have you come into contact with any of our wildlife?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
We love the cute wombats.
The wombats. Yes.
So we actually did a lot in terms of wildlife.
Yeah.
We spotted the platypus in
See,
Victoria.
I'm so jealous because I've never seen one in the wild.
but
we have
we
You're
were
here for 2 years.
we were influenced by friends
Yeah.
who were on websites and then saw there is a spot. Otherwise, we never would have seen one.
Yeah.
But she would really said, okay, there we need to go at dusk or at dawn.
Okay.
And then probably we'll
Yeah.
see one. And also, it was not very spectacular. We just saw it.
From afar.
They're so
from
cute. They're
far.
very,
Yeah. You can see how cute they are like in the zoo, but like in the wild, it was just like, oh my
Yes.
god, there is one. But yeah.
But
it's
yeah, I
definitely
think, yeah.
thanks to the friend who's also very good at bird spotting and all that stuff that we were able to see one.
Yeah, fabulous.
But
I think
see-
so. The birds. I think you talked about that. The birds are quite different here compared to Belgium. Like we've got a lot of colour in
Yes.
our
Yeah.
birds.
A lot of
Definitely.
noise. There's a famous meme where they say if you wake up in Europe and the birds are making noise, it's like very gentle, quietly. It's a very nice way to get up.
They're singing.
And
almost.
then here, they're just making a lot of noise. But indeed, they're very colorful. So they're
Beautiful.
beautiful, but they're
Yeah.
making a lot of noise.
Well, you can't have it all. You
Indeed,
have to.
indeed.
And we saw like two scary snakes.
Oh
We
my
spotted
Whales.
whales.
Wombats.
Like the echidna. You
Echidna.
saw
Oh,
a lot of
yes.
kangaroos, of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
echidna.
Koala.
Yes, echidnas are. I have seen a few in the wild, and it's always a surprise because you don't expect to see them. They're slow with their walking, but and I've
Indeed.
touched one, but that's
Oh,
more
really?
at work. When we have the Wild Action Show come to my work and to pat them, they're such a placid animal. They're not that spiky. Because it's kind of they look like they are, but they're so placid. So placid.
So talking about wildlife, maybe I'll take here a sidetrack, but I think with a snake and with small crocodiles, and that's like so common that children in Australia already get used of seeing wildlife and not being scared of them as such.
It's that education that we have to educate the children, because we could come into contact with, snakes and things, but we haven't, thank goodness. But it is around education, because that if they don't have that education, that's to keep them safe, is to give them knowledge and to make sure that when something does happen, that they know what to do.
I think it's an Aussie thing. Like
I
picture
think
that I saw with just children of, like, say, 5 to 6 years old holding a snake. I think none of the children had a mullet, but if they had, then it was the most Aussie picture that I've ever seen.
That's right. Oh my goodness. The other thing that just flicks in my mind is you embracing our sport, Jeff, and the AFL games. And
yes.
I think what team were you supporting?
Richmond.
Semi? I know.
Which is maybe not good to say this year.
This house.
in this house. Yeah.
Yes, So you've been to some AFL games?
Yes. Well, I think in general, I'm a sports lover.
Yes.
I love cycling, but also watching soccer. I watched a lot of sports when I was in Europe. And of course, when I came in the office, a lot of people asked me, the first question they ask, how are you? How was the flight? Second question is, which team are you supporting? And so I already had St. Kilda Max and Adam, who was saying, you need to support, of course, Melbourne.
The Demons, yes.
Yeah, the Demons. Go Demons. And then we filled in an online quiz. Which club suits your personality? Which I don't know. I don't know what the foundations of that quiz were, but I think we did it with the 6 of us, like the group of friends, and the common denominator was, or 3 of the 6 had Richmond, so we said we're all picking Richmond.
Oh my
that was the reason
That's
why.
how you chose Richmond.
And also it's like a tiger, so we were like, cute animal, looks good, colors are good. And it's like the suburb next to where we live, right?
Yeah.
South Yarra, Richmond. So we had some affinity with that as well. So we're like, let's go Tigers.
Yes, it used to be about where people lived and what football team they support, but not so much now, because some of them have amalgamated over the years, and the Sydney Swans used to be South Melbourne, and there's been quite a few. Fitzroy, I think, is Brisbane Bears now. But Fitzroy is in Melbourne. But it used to be, but why people live there. And Geelong often is Geelong because it's quite different and it's not so much Melbourne. But Geelong supporters live in Geelong. But we also have Geelong supporters that live in Melbourne. But it's a big following.
And it's a beautiful game to watch.
Yes.
Because it's like, it's very rough. But also some tactics which in the beginning, I didn't really get.
Yeah.
And you need to have some endurance. So they're, athletes as such.
They do a lot of running on that, on that field. And
we're living on, I think it's not more than 2 kilometers from the MCG, or the G, as I need to call
the
it.
G,
which is it's 100,000 people who almost fit in. That's just amazing. So the first game that I went to, it was really like, wow, what is this?
Deafening. It's deafening because it's so, and the supporters are so vocal.
Indeed.
So much yelling. I guess we don't, which is good. There's not really a lot of violence in our games. Our supporters, it's quite good.
Everyone just sitting next to each other, like that. In Belgium, you would sit in your own corner. That was really amazing. Like everyone just next to each other, and it's fine.
Like little children go. Also, elder people. It can be a neat family day. So I like the vibe of it.
Yes.
And I still do. Yeah, it's an amazing sport, and everybody has a team. So in Melbourne, everybody has a team.
And there's always something happening on the field. It's a family thing. You can have lovely meat pies, like win, win, win.
The food. I go for the food, let's be honest. And I think, is it possible for you to follow the AFL when you get back home? Like, is it?
It could be.
In terms of watching games?
He's really a sports fan.
I don't think whether I don't know yet. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
now I watch a game now and then.
Yes.
But whether I will do it or I'll watch the recaps or the shows
Yeah.
the morning after, I can now say yes, I'll absolutely do it, but I don't know yet because I see now I also watch still sports from Europe, like the cycling Tour de France is now
Yes.
and it's hard to with the time difference
Yes.
to see
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope so. Yeah. But we have a friend who is already a year in Belgium who is still texting us like, "Oh, the Tigers, they lost again." After 3 games in this season, he stopped texting. So he was still watching. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really, really good. It's, I guess, a part of Melbourne and the MCG. You know, a lot happens there. It's
Mhm.
quite an iconic venue. In terms of venues that you have overseas, like in Belgium, what would be, like in Brussels would be
But 100,000
where
people
you would go.
we
No,
don't
you don't have it. Yeah.
You have in Barcelona, you have like a football stadium, a soccer stadium, Camp Nou, which is 96,000, I think.
Okay.
But we don't have that big of a venue, not even close in
Yeah.
Belgium. I think maybe the biggest one in Brussels is 50,000.
Oh, so for you going to the
Yeah,
MCG
that's why
venue.
it was really dazzling.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's normal for us. And catching the train there, you know, there was
Yeah.
just people everywhere. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
But everyone's so well behaved as well. There's like no pushing, no
Yeah.
one's in a rush. Like I
That's
love
good.
that. Like
yeah.
Hmm.
that's a very big difference than in
Yeah.
Europe. Even like going to sort of festival here, you'll have space. Back in Belgium, they'll just so many people. You're like squished, and you're like, okay, want to move my arm? It's difficult. While here, it's like always easygoing. No one pushes. There's always room. I really like it.
We have a lot of space.
Yeah,
here in
yeah, you
Australia.
do have a lot of space. I mean,
so vast. Everything's so vast.
Yeah.
Like you know, you've gone to Uluru and
Yeah.
seen. How long did you
Wow.
spend up there?
5 days.
Yeah, 5 days, 4
Yeah.
nights, I think. Yeah,
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
magic.
yeah.
Weather would have been not too
Good.
hot. Like in summer, it's very hot
Yeah.
there.
No,
But
we
then you
even
fo-
had some rain, but we loved
okay.
it, the rain.
But then you fly there and then you think, oh my God, they still have heaps of space too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because there's nothing there.
That's right.
And
That's
the
right.
majority of the flight, if you look on the map, there's also no one living there. So yeah, it's so big. Yeah, you can fit Europe in Australia.
That's right.
You still
That's
have
right.
space
When you
left.
see that, you know, those memes in the pictures, is Australia you put over.
Yeah.
We cover a lot of ground.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not many people do the drive from here to WA. Like that's the biggest drive.
Yeah.
Across the, I think it's
Yeah.
the Nullarbor. Over the years, I think apparently it's got more made roads and it's good now to drive, but it's a long way.
Yeah.
Most people would fly to WA. Yeah, we have some listeners in WA as well. Yes, so
We're coming.
yeah, you're coming. So food in cuisine, like have you found the food to be much different to back home, or is it more universal with international menus and things?
I would say here it's definitely more international,
Okay.
much more Asian cuisine, and how we love it. Like
Yeah.
we have a
Wow.
Chinese restaurant back in our town. It's nothing compared to eating
Oh, yes.
Chinese here. Like,
Very
it's
different.
amazing. I've never eaten anywhere in Australia that I didn't like it. Like
great.
it's so great everywhere. I
So
really
many
love the food.
options.
Yes.
That's it. It's so many options because it's a multicultural
Yeah.
city. Yeah, so that was also something which is a bit eye-opening.
Compared to back home.
Yes, which also food was
Yeah.
great, but we had certain, let's say, traditions, or you eat a lot of meals, let's say, once bi-weekly, and here, yeah, you can eat Asian, or like Indian, Thai, Vietnamese. For me, that was before I came here. It was just Asian food, but now if we opened that box, it's
Yes.
just you can.
Compartments of
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so amazing. So yeah, that's definitely something that we'll miss. Is that having close all those restaurants,
everything, especially where you are. You know,
Yeah.
everything's available
and
to
the
you.
coffee.
The coffee. Everyone
Oh.
says I'm not a coffee drinker, but everyone says the coffee's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, compared like in the world.
When did you actually? Because you can't be not a coffee drinker in Melbourne.
I don't.
Yeah, when
I
did you
just-
decide to not
I
drink
would
coffee?
like to like it. I smell the beans
Yeah.
roasting. Think, oh, that smells amazing. Every
Yes.
time I taste, I'd have to put 25 sugars in it to even make it drinkable.
Yeah.
But I'm a really big tea drinker. I drink a lot of tea. But yeah, coffee. Everyone, I think I'm the anomaly. Everyone I know drinks coffee, and carrying a coffee. Yeah, but I taste. It's too bitter. I'd have to add a lot of sugar or something to it to make it. I've tried many times because I love the smell of coffee. I think it's a beautiful smell. I like coffee flavored things, but not coffee itself.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, apparently we have great coffee here. Yeah.
I think you probably get good coffee in Italy as well, but compared to Belgium, it's amazing here.
Yes. Yeah. So,
What most are you looking forward to about going home?
Oh, I know what we're gonna say. Fries.
in terms of food,
Yeah. I was thinking food still.
I was just
Otherwise,
about to
maybe
say the
family and animals.
I was just about to say the normal answer, like family and friends. We, of course, very much looking forward to see our parents, our sisters back,
Yes.
our close friends.
All the
But-
animals.
All the animals.
But apparently, Sophie has just fries in her
she's
mind.
thinking about the fries.
Yeah. Let's be honest. That's gotta be the first thing we eat, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
I think, and both of your families have been out to Australia to
Yes.
visit you while you're here.
Yeah.
And what did they think of Australia when they came? It was so nice to have them come over for you
My-
guys. Yeah.
My mom would have easily been able to stay here like 3 more months.
Oh,
She was
wow.
really like, I don't want to leave, and she loves Melbourne. She's actually a city girl. Like, she lives in a small town as well, but she's such a city girl. Like, and your parents loved it as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you're, of course, on a holiday here,
Yeah.
the nature is beautiful. They were here from Christmas until mid-January.
Okay.
We drove from Sydney to Melbourne, saw the fireworks in Sydney. So,
Fabulous.
yeah, they
There's-
saw
yeah.
a beautiful part of Australia.
Yeah.
There's
Um,
not a
and they
soul
loved
in the
it.
world who
Yeah.
wouldn't love that. Yeah.
Yeah, so their time here was very good, and they really enjoyed it. Also,
My
Melbourne
mom-
itself, they were 1 week in Melbourne, and
Yeah.
they did on their own because I was working then.
Yes.
But the Australian Open was then starting to begin, so they
Gosh.
went there. It was beautiful weather. They did some walks. They're also, like, my father is also into sports and seeing all those stadiums.
Did he
so-
go to an AFL game? Oh, no, it wouldn't have
No,
been
it
on at the
wasn't.
time.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
summer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and we found, sorry, maybe now some listeners will drop out, but cricket we find it boring.
I don't watch cricket. It's like the same thing. Just happening.
so
It's a lot of standing around, and a lot of our friends like cricket, but yeah, I haven't. I'm not.
so we didn't went to a
I'm with
cricket
you on
game
that one.
then, but they did went to qualifying for the Australian Open and then just some walks in the city.
how
So they
exciting.
really
Yeah.
enjoyed it here. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
our city compared to what would you call your CBD there? Like,
Well, like
do you
said,
have something like our CBD that is close by to you?
in Belgium, do you mean?
Ghent?
Yeah.
Ghent, probably.
So we have Ghent, but just 200,000 people. So
Okay.
that's, I couldn't say that's really a CBD. Maybe Brussels and Antwerp are close to 1 million.
Okay.
They have some kind of a CBD.
Do you have parks? In your same as as Melbourne.
but it's a bit more dense,
Yeah.
I would say. So
Okay.
Melbourne is spread out. I mean, yeah, the fact that you have botanical gardens, which are that big in the middle of the city,
Yeah.
that amazes me.
Yeah.
And there, in the CBD, it's really crowdy. Where here you only have that in like the real, like next to Flinders in the real CBD. But as soon as you go out there,
Okay.
it's like I feel a lot more space.
Yeah.
But-
yeah.
Say, like, probably same for us because it's just not a city anymore. Like, you don't have to walk or cycle that far to be in nature again when you go out of Ghent, right?
Yeah, that's
So
something
that's-
which is indeed different. That
Yeah.
here we're now in a suburb of Melbourne. You
Yes.
say
Yes.
that we would never say in Belgium. If you
Yes.
need to drive half an hour from the inner city, then you're in a small
In another
town.
city, yeah.
or in another city because
Yeah.
we're not. We're
Yeah.
not
Our
that big.
terminology around those things, I guess, is a little bit different.
But it's also just because it's much bigger. We really feel it when we drive out of the city that you're still there, but a lot more houses, like more space. But for us, it would be in Belgium, you drive out of the city, let's say in 20 minutes, and then there's a lot of meadows, a lot of nothing, and then the next village is there, and again, a lot of meadows, and the next village, but driving half an hour, you pass maybe 2 or 3 villages.
Yeah, I understand it here, because it's still here, you drive and you see constantly houses, but then if we drive another half an hour, let's say to Wilsesbrom or to the southeast, then there's nothing.
Yes.
And that also was something that,
even Melbourne to Sydney. So when you're driving in what we would call a country town, we would call that kind of similar. You know, you might see a very small country town where it might be like a pub and a service station.
Yeah.
And then it's a town.
Nothing. And so I understand the distinction between the two. But the town where we come from is never that small as a country town here.
Yes.
So that was also, it's also amazing. Just driving half an hour or an hour, then they're already they're saying, okay, in 50 kilometers there is a town, and then you come there and there's just one pub, and you can get it, and of course you can get coffee somewhere.
Yeah, of course you can get a coffee. Yes,
which is it's really
quite
cool.
Quite different to when. What travel looks like when you're back in Belgium? What does your travel look like when you're there?
I think
do you go much outside of your
I think
country?
We will adjust it now in the future probably, because we had a taste of what it was like here. But before, we pretty much stayed home most of the time, visiting friends, family, and then we do like one big trip a year. But that's most of the time. I feel like it was to one place, and then we stayed there, like. Less traveling, less exploring.
Okay.
More a relaxing holiday, let's say. We cycle and we bike, but we stay in the same place. While here it's like one night there, drive 100k, one night over there.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed it, actually. So we were saying to each other, like, let's explore Europe next year.
Yeah. Are you going back when the Olympics is in Paris, or are you going? Is that after
It will be just about to be finished when we're back.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's.
Is either of your families heading to the Olympics over there? It's a lot closer for you guys than it is for us.
Some friends of mine are gonna do it.
Excellent. Excellent.
But it was hard to get tickets. Very expensive accommodation.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Although Paris is pretty close to where we live, like it's a
3-hour drive from our end. Yeah, but
3 hours. Yeah. Is that all? 3 hours?
Yeah, 3 hours.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
We drive 12, 14.
Yeah, definitely.
3 hours. That's a little day trip, a little morning.
Yeah.
It's very different when you've got distance. You know, for us, distance isn't an issue. When we were in the UK and we were driving from London to Manchester, and the guy was like, "Oh, for us, it was that for 3 hours is nothing for us."
Yeah.
You know, for it is very, very different. I have just loved, I guess, spending time with you guys, I guess, over the time that you've been in Australia. But I'm also happy for you guys that you are getting to go home, because I can't imagine what it's been like being away from friends and family. Like you said, initially there was, you know, it's tricky at the beginning, but then you kind of settled in and then embracing the experiences, the travel, the people, the coffee. I'm sorry, our chips aren't up to scratch that you were looking forward to chips when you go back to Belgium. But yeah, I think you've taken this opportunity and just got the best out of it, and heading home will be a nice feeling for you guys. So I guess my next question, so we have the engagement. Is there a wedding planned?
Yes.
There is.
Yes.
There is.
Next year in June, we're getting married.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Did your parents think that you were potentially going to get married here, or it was going to be, of course, we're going to get married in Belgium?
My mom, of course, said, "Sophie, if you're doing it in Australia, I'm coming." Like, she was already excited for a new trip.
She's booked her flight.
Yeah.
But I got quite a few text messages like, "You're gonna do it in Belgium, right?" Like,
yes, panic.
Yes,
like,
yes. But it wasn't. We never doubted it. Like, it was always gonna be in Belgium.
Gonna be back at home.
Yeah. But I don't know whether they ever doubted it. They never asked me the question, where is it gonna be? They just said, "Oh, so then you're also coming back." So, but whether they ever doubt it, I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. They always.
And that's your summer there.
Yeah.
In June.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, because this year it's raining a lot in Belgium, so hopefully it's better next year.
Yeah.
Yes.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Oh my goodness. Could be anything. Well, it's like Melbourne. We can be very hot one day and then cold the next, and we it's been in cold snaps where we've had kind of very frosty mornings here, like ice on cars and grass and things.
But the last months you also have a lot of sunny winter days.
We actually have.
I think you need to embrace more.
It's nice. It's nice because when it is that drizzle and cloud and it's dark.
I feel like it's much better than last year. Last year was like very rainy.
Yeah, it has. We've been particularly lucky, a little bit chilly, but nothing, I guess, compared to what Chile is where you're from. So we'll stop complaining. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for joining me today. And it's really, really nice to hear that people that come to Australia that have just embraced everything and loved everything about it. And, from sport to so many different things. It's really, really good. So, thank you for joining us today. And I can't wait to upload this episode so your families can hear this. So thank you, Jeff and Sofie.
No.
Is there anything you want to say?
No, thank you for having us.
Yeah. And thank you for having us in your beautiful country. And
you're very much welcome.
I hope
to come and see hopefully you guys in Belgium at some point.
You should.
I'm excited to show you our little town.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I'll ride your horses.
Yes, you should.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having us.
Bye. Thank you to Jeff and Sofie for sharing their life with us today. I love that they have shared many special moments together in Australia, especially their engagement in Wilson's prom. We wish them all the best and safe travels back to Belgium. I can't wait to hear about Sophie's first ride on her horse. But will Jeff also ride? I guess we will wait and see. Tune in to our next episode where we get to hear more lives worth telling. Don't forget to check out and follow us on your socials. And if you love what you hear, please rate and review us on your favourite podcast app. Of course, if you have any questions, you can get in touch with us through the Facebook page or Instagram. If you or a friend or a family member would like to come on the show, please don't hesitate to get in contact with us. And if you want to grab yourself some merch, jump onto Redbubble to check out our products. Thanks for listening to Lives Worth Telling. See you next time.